Hello students, welcome to today's session. Today we shall be discussing something important with regards to Python programming. Yesterday we were able to set up our environment, and for that matter today we are going to dive into the main content. And before we proceed, today I make a little note so that we can follow certain steps that will enable us to achieve our intended objective. So this is the first note I made, which is our learning objective for today. So by the end of today's session, we should be able to understand what Python's syntax are. Then we should be able to also understand how we comment when it comes to what Python. And then another one too is we shall be looking at variables in Python. And then the last one will be the data types. So these are the four main objectives that we intend to achieve today. So let's get started. But then yesterday we did put most of our environment, that is the IDEs, into our main path. So let's check and see whether we can find our environments, that is our IDEs, inside that our main path. So just open your CMD, that is your command prompt. Just press the window key and type CMD. Window key, CMD. I don't know, when I start to record, my machine start to do something else. My friend, come on. Okay, it is not off. Okay. So let's wait for it to come so that we can check and see whether our IDs are in the what? In the main path. So this is our CMD, our command prompt. So we want to see whether our environments, that is the IDEs, are set into the what? The main path. So we are going to use a keyword called echo. If you are coming from a PHP background, you know the meaning of echo. It means print. So echo, and then you hold shift and then you press the percentage sign and press and type path. Then add another percentage sign at the end and then press enter. So as you can see, all these informations, all these links, that is directories, are put into my main path. And you can see we have our PyCharm here. So the directory is C PyCharm, then PyCharm Community Editor 2019.3.4. So it means that our PyCharm was put into our main path. Then let's see the Python itself, whether, because we put that one to there. So let's see. Where is our Python? Okay, here is it. So you can see our Python to the directory is user, that is C, user admin, app data, local, programs. Then you can see Python is here, and then Python 38, and then this is the 32-bit. This is the script one, and this one too is another path for, that is the main path, Python and you can see it's also here. So now that we are comfortable that our IDs are put into the main path, even we can even execute our Python command here by just typing Python and then tap enter, and let's see. You can see it took us to the Python command prompt. So here you can even do anything at all with regards to Python. For instance, yesterday we were saying that 2 plus 5, then you press enter, it is giving us 7. So here you can do even all your coding, so without even opening the IDE itself. You understand? So, and with regards to this, so let's exit. So to exit, just press exit and then open and then close bracket and then just type enter. Then it will take you out of what? The directory, the Python editor. So just clear. See, so, and one thing I must put across, students should learn how to use the command prompt, because certain environment you are not going to find the graphical user interface whereby you'll be clicking. So to clear your interface, to clear your environment, just in Windows, just type CLS and press enter. It will clear everything for you. Then the PyCharm tool, we can execute it by just typing PyCharm. PyCharm, and then press enter, and let's wait and see whether it will open our PyCharm for us. And you should know that it is a Java-based application, and for that matter, it will come in the form of a graphical user interface whereby you see it has started. So open JDK, and already when you see JDK, what should come into your mind should be something like Java, because Java has this kind of stuff. So let's wait and then see whether our PyCharm will also open when it comes to we entering the name here on the command prompt. So let's wait a little bit. You know, I'm recording, and then already the application is slow in every machine. So if I'm recording and then I'm even executing such commands, it will take some time to come, but it will come. As you can see, it is blinking, telling you that it is working for it. So let's just wait patiently, and then we will have it so that we can continue. And if you haven't set your environment, you can watch the previous session where we were able to download both the Python setup and then the PyCharm setup, and we even went further to install the tool. So let's wait. Why is it taking this much time? Let me just excuse me, let me pause the recording so that it will fasten up, because we don't have much resources in my machine. So let's, okay, as you can see, it has started up. So but in your case, you will not have this slow nature, because you will not be recording. So just execute the command PyCharm, and then it will launch this interface for you, so that you can follow up. Okay, so students, as you can see, our IDE has finally finished opening up. So, and you can either close this tab or just leave it. So, but for our case, we are going to just click here and close it. So by mistake, if you click it and then it closes, you can the same thing, click there, and then it will bring it up. So if I click, it brings it up. If I click here, it sends it back. So we shall be working here. Now, let's look at some of our objectives we set for the day. We set first, we have to learn the syntax, then second, the comments, then Python variables, and then data types. I want to add something, that is the built-in functions of Python. It's very important. We should know the built-in functions. So maybe built-in functions. So something of that sort, built-in functions. So first, let's start with the built-in functions. By default, Python comes with certain built-in functions that you need to know, and when you are setting up your variables, then you need not to use that keywords. So for instance, let's go to Python documentation, and then we can see the built-in functions there. So you can go to Google, just open your browser, and then type in Python built-in functions. So you will be presented with this interface, and as you can see, we have a lot of information there. So you can see the header here says Python built-in functions. So, and this is what the main header is. So, and then it says the Python interpreter has a number of functions and types built into it that are always available. They are listed here in alphabetical order. So they've listed in alphabetical order. But don't worry, you need not to commit these things into memory. I just want to bring it to your attention so that you know that Python has built-in functions. We shall be using some of them, and as soon as we start to use some of them, you can easily pick it up there, so that our learning curve will be much simpler. So these are all the built-in functions that we have. Now, so it means that we now know that we have built-in functions. So if you don't know Python has built-in functions, you should know. And even yesterday I was telling you that the print function is a built-in function. For instance, let's find out the print. So the print p column. Okay, here is it. So you can see the print here is a built-in function which we have been using. So that's one. So as we continue to learn, you will understand, and then you'll get to know all the built-in functions that Python had. So let's continue with our lesson. And to make the learning curve so simple and easy to understand, we are going to take a look at Python data types, so that when we know the Python data types, then we can be in a better position to do certain things that will help us to understand the concept much better. So today, I told you that I have some notes, so which we shall be going through, and then before doing the practicals. So now, these are some of the data type, built-in data types we have in Python. And this information, I had it from W3 School. W3 Schools. So this is their site. So w3school.com. It's a good site. You can learn anything at all there. So they have a lot of tutorials when it comes to software development and other stuff. So W3 Schools is a very good place that you can learn even Python. So this information, I had it from W3 School. You see, I just cancel it, but if you press Control, if I cancel it like this, and then press Control Z, that's Control Z, it will bring whatever I've canceled. So just for information's sake. So you should know you can undo certain things when you want to bring it back. Just press Ctrl Z. Now, let's look at what built-in data types are. In programming, data types is an important concept, which is true because you need to know the data type before you can even do anything. Now, variables can store data of different types, and we'll get to understand what variables are because it's part of our concept. And different types can do different things. So Python has the following data type built in by default. So it comes by default with this data type in this category. So we have the text types. So where you under the text type, sorry, my lights went off, so I have to go and then change over. Other than that, I'll be cut off from the internet. Student, because I just went there and then changed over. We were having light out, so we were using the generator, but the light has come, so we have to change it to the national grid. So now we're talking about data types, and I'm saying that the first category is what? Text type. So anything at all that is going to be in the form of a text, then we classify it as what? String. The full spelling is string. So if it is plural, you add x, so strings. So anything that is text type, then we store that information, or Python interpret it as what? String. Then we also have numeric types, and the numeric types, it's just like what we were learning back at the primary school and then our JSS and other stuff. So numeric type, we have integer. So the int here, int means integer. Then this is a float. In real situation, we call it decimals. So, and then we have complex. It's a little bit more complex than decimals. So that's why they say it's just like decimal, but it's a little bit complex. So that's why they say complex. So we shall be focusing on int and then float. So don't bother about the complex for now. Then we also have another one, which is sequence type. So which is list, tuple, and then range. So for now, just know these are some of the data types for sequence types. Then mapping types. So mapping type, we have the dictionary. The dict here means that's the dictionary. Then we have the set type, which is set is from the word set. So set and then frozen set. Then we also have the Boolean type. This Boolean, the short is bool, and it stands for true or what? False, yes or no. So y'all know that when we say something, the data type is Boolean, we are saying that whether it is true or it is false. You understand? So Boolean means true or what? False. Then we also have the binary type, which is byte. Then and this other stuff. So that is byte array and memo at something. So memory view. So this is memory view. This is byte array, and this is byte. And these are some data storage information. So you can get this information from w3schools.com, like I said earlier on. But our focus will be on the text, which is the string, then the numeric type, which is int, and then the float, and then the Boolean type, which is what? The true or false. So for now, because of our level, we are learning the basics now, and we want to take everything gradually. So we are not going to do complex things that will make you feel disappointed in this program. And for that matter, our focus will be on string, then int and float, and then this Boolean. So as time goes on, then we then factor the rest into it. So this is the little information about data type. So for instance, let's look in practice. So let's create a folder. So this is my my folder, I created a folder called Python Basics. So to create a folder, just click on File here, then click on New Project. Then when you click on the new project, you wait for the window to open. So you can see that another window has popped up, and it is telling you that you should name your project here. So you just type in the name here. So just type in any name here. But I've done it already. So you just type in the name and then click the button here which says create. So you can also name a Python basis, and then if you just click on create, you will have the same folder as I have here. So now, if you now create this folder, I told you yesterday that we have to create a file inside that folder. So to create a file, just right click on the folder we just created, which is the Python basis. So let me just make sure you people are seeing it. To create a file inside this folder, just right click on this Python basis. Just right click and then wait for the pop-up menu to come. So when it comes, then select the new, and then navigate to Python file, which we did yesterday. So it's the same thing. So click on Python file. Here they are asking you to enter your file name, new Python file. So let's put, we are learning data types. So let's just put data types. Oh, sorry, data type. And this is my naming convention. I start by small letters, but if it is two words, then the beginning of the second word I use capital letter. So but it doesn't matter any way you do it, it's going to work perfect. Just that don't start with a number. My machine is trying to say. Okay, so once you have it that way, then you have this option. If you don't have it, don't bother. Then just press enter, so that you have the file created inside that folder. So let's wait for the file to create. You see my machine is suffering. It is saying that not responding. Don't mind it, it will come. Because I'm recording, it is taking a lot of resources. So our file has been created. Let's check and see. You can, oh, it's still telling now. Let's wait for it. Let's wait. Just be patient. Okay, as finally we can see that, what is this again? Yeah, cancel it. It's all boiled down to our machine being slow. So you can see that now we have our file created, Python data types, and there's this extension .py. So it's very necessary. So it means that we now have our first file created inside our Python basis. So because of the window nature, I just want to minimize this so that we can have full look and then be doing things properly. Now, if let me zoom it small so that you people can see what is happening. Let's wait. So let me maximize so that you can see. No mind. We don't want this too big. You have to be patient so that I can work out those things for us, because my machine is suffering. It will cope. Don't worry. Let me just pull. Hey. I buy this machine. Oh, let me take this thing off because it is killing our machine. Sorry guys, if I zoom in, we are getting challenges because of the resources in my machine. So by just pay attention, maybe you can see what is happening. And one important thing about Python is it numbers your code for you. You can see we have number 1, number 2, number 3. So if you are typing, it will be numbering it. So in case you have a problem, then you can easily detect where the problem is coming from. So but then we are learning data types. So and we said if you are entering any text, then that text is what? A string. And we always put a string in what? In 2 double quotation, or it could be what? 1 double quotation. You can only put a string in either 2 double quotation or what? 1 double quotation. For instance, if I open my double quotation, so as you can see, and then type hello, it is slowing down. So because I type this hello inside this double quotation, it makes it a what? A string. So assuming I want to print the hello, then I have to just print the built-in function, which is print. So and one thing about Python 2 is it has, when you try to type, it brings in the what? The function. So you can see that when I type PRIN, then you can see beneath it the function has come. So it is very intelligent. So you can just press tab and then it will complete it for you. And you can see there is even the 2 braces, the opening and then the closing one. So because we want to print a string, we can just put our double quotation or single quotation and then type in welcome to Python. Welcome. My machine is slowing down, so this is not typing for welcome to Python programming. As you can see, so when we then right click on this window, the interface, anywhere when you right click, then you can see our file name is data types. So you can run data type. It means that is our file they are referring to. So just click on run and then check beneath here. You see the results there. So let's wait. So you see that it has been executed and the output is welcome to Python programming. And beneath it you have process finished with exit code 0. This means that it has returned 0 what? Error. And you must take note of that. So it means that we have no error. Our program has run successfully. And this is the whole concept about what? A string. A string simply means that you have to put whatever information you are writing inside what? Double what? Quotation. So for instance, you can do this. So let's just cancel this, cut this, and then we can say something like name. So but then I don't want to tell you something about the name, but for the meantime name is just a variable. So but we are not learning variables for now, so just take it that way. So if name is equal to, then it means that any person's name you are going to enter need to be what? A string. It's a text. It's not it. So by default name should be a string. So immediately you bring the keyword name, then what you need to do is to bring what? The 2 quotes. So let's bring our quotations and then our double quote and then just write my name is Tijani. So if I finish it like this, then I can just run it. Unlike other programming language, you have to terminate. But so this is one simple way of learning Python, because you don't need to worry yourself about terminating your codes and other stuff. So let's just run and see whether it will print out. And you see it has printed out nothing, because we haven't invoked the command, that is the print. And what are we printing? We are printing name, and name has a variable called Tijani. So there's an equal sign here, which is an assignment operator. So name has been assigned as what? Tijani. So it means that name is a variable and then Tijani is a value. So it means that this name is holding Tijani. So if you want to execute this instruction, then you have to call the name, and then the name will then print out Tijani for you. For instance, let's print, and as you can see, then you just type your variable name. So name. So now, my machine is slow, but don't worry. So now we have, we are now printing name. So when we print the name, it will not print the name here. It will print Tijani, because Tijani has been assigned to this variable. You understand? So which is the name. So let's print. So let's just press Control and execute. And you can see it has been successful, and Tijani has been what? Printed out. So anything at all in Python that you are putting in either single quotations or double quotation is a what? A string. So just take note of that. Then we then move into our second data type, which is what? The integer aspect of it, which is the numeric. And we said we have the integer under the numeric data type. We have the integer, and we have the float, and then we have the complex one. But then I said we are going to concentrate on the integer and then the what? The float for now. So if I type age, because we know age, if we are saying age, it means that we are talking about an integer. We don't have someone's age that is 19.5, because we don't have 19.5 and the age. Your age can either be a whole number or can only be a whole number and nothing else. So age should be equal to, assume my age is 20. So now look at the difference. When we were talking about the string, we put our value in what? In double what? Quotations. But when we are using an integer, which is a number, we don't put it in what? In double quotation. So because you want to print a number, and that's it. So for instance, so if I want to execute this program, then I'll just type print age, and then when I execute it, so let me just comment this one. We are going to learn comments too, so I'm just, but don't worry. So I've commented the string for now. So now we are learning integer. So we want to print the age here. So let's execute and see the value it is going to print out for us. So if we execute, so you can see that it has returned what? 20, which is the value assigned to what? The age. So it has successful what? Completed with 0 what? Error. So this is how we assign integer or integers to any what? Code. So you don't need to put it in any double quotation or single quotation. Now, then let's then turn our attention to float. So assuming we want to generate a float. So for instance, volume. Volume, volume could be anything. So volume, the volume of anything at all. So let's just assign to 3.56. So even this one the float 2, we don't put it in what? In any what? Double quotation or single quotation. You just write it, but because there's a point here, so that's why we call it what? Float. So when you are executing, then you just say print what? Volume, and then it will print out 3.56 for you. So maybe we can try that. Print volume. And you see the name has popped up. So let's run the code. Let's wait, and you can see that it has printed out our volume to what? 3.56 for us. So this is an integer, and this is a what? A float. Now, how can we then tell that this is really a float and this is an integer? So we can find out by attaching this variable. So let's say type, and then our variable name is what? Volume. So now let's execute. It will print out the volume for us, which is 3.5, and we want to see the type, whether it is a float or an integer. So let's execute and see the. So let's print. So because we didn't attach print to this one, so let's add print, and you see we have to bring the type again, type, and then open another parenthesis and then put the volume. Very simple. Volume. So what I've just done here is I type in the print, then I bring first opening, and then bring the type here, and then another opening, and then type in the what? The variable there, and then we have these two closing. So why are we having the two? Because we have one here and we have another one here. So if you are ending it, it should end with what? Two closing places. So now let's now execute our program and see. So you can see that the output now is 3.56, which is the volume we printed, and then the type is, they are saying we shall be learning classes, which is also another built-in function. But then you can see they are saying that the function there, the type there is what? Float. So Python is able to even tell you that what you have entered there is a float. So if we do the same thing to the integer here, so let's just add print, then and then the type. So type, and all these things are built-in functions, and then we then add our age. So let's uncomment this two and see what we are going to get. And then I want to comment these last ones so that you can see what we are working at a time. I don't want to confuse you with so many things. Now let's execute it. So it means that we are now talking about age is equal to 20. Now print age, so it will give out the 20. Then we want to then know what type, what data type is 20, which is the age. Then it should tell us it is what? Integer. But then let's execute it and see whether we are getting an integer or something else. And you can see it has printed out the age to be 20, and then the class, which is the type, which is int, int, and int stands for what? Integer. So it means that any whole number, Python interprets it as what? An integer. And then any number that has a dot, Python interprets it as a what? A float. That is a decimal number. It interprets it as a what? A float. Now let's come to the string, and then try to find out the data type for it. So let's comment this one too. Just comment it. And comment this one. So let's uncomment the name part so that we then be setting that. So let's print. And what are we printing? We want to know the data type. So type, then bracket open name. So my bad. So now let's execute the command and see what we are going to get. Okay, guys, you can see that it has printed out that the name is what, Tijani, but then the data type is string, is str. That is short for what? String. So you can see that. So Python by default, so if you want to add a string to an integer, it will be giving you errors, though we shall get into that aspect very soon. But I just want you to know that this is how Python interprets our data type. So these are all the data types. But then the last one we want to look at is the Boolean, which is the true or the false. So let me comment this one too. Just comment it and comment this. So now, if so, question that arises that demand true or false is a male, something of this one. So this is just a phrase. So it's a name. So it's a variable. So is the person a male? You can put it that way. So then you set your answer to true. So true. So and you see Python is case sensitive. It doesn't recognize this true because you started with what? Small t. So let's begin with capital T and see. So even as soon as you begin to type it, the name pop up. So you just, so now let's print is true and see the output it will give to us, and then the data type. So print is what? Is true, is male, right? And then let's print the data type. Let's print the type. My God. Let's print the type is underscore true. So now let's execute this one too and see what is happening. So let's execute. And then it returns that it's true, which we put there. And then the type is what? Bool. So Boolean means bool. So it is telling us that if it is Boolean, then it should be true or what? False. So it's a male, yes or no. So these are some of the things. So if it is true, then it should return what? True. And then the data type is what? Boolean, which is bool in short. So guys, this is what we meant by data what? Types. And just to recap, we looked at the string data type, whereby you need to put it in what? Double or single quotations. And then we also looked at the integer, which you need not to put it in either single or double quotation. And then we also looked at decimals, which is float, whereby the number contains what? Points. So 3.56 or 3 point whatever. Then we also looked at Boolean, which is also bool for another data type that talks about what? Yes or no, which is true or false. So this is what we have covered so far. And also, we also determined whether it was a string by using the what? The function here, type, and then the variable name, and then it was able to tell us that it is a string or an integer or a float or a Boolean. So we will then continue with the other sections very soon. So if you have any question, just send it to me, and then I'll be glad to answer you and then clarify certain doubts. Okay, students, welcome back. Now we have done with data types, so I'll take this opportunity for us to learn comments, so that because we have been commenting some of our code, so it's good I just put that thing across, and then we'll be dealt with it once and for all. So I have another information that I drafted for comments, and you can find this thing at W3 schools. But I told you, you can get anything at all you want there. It's a good resource center where you can go and learn everything. You will be better than your colleague, and it will only depend the number of times you use the web, because every information is there. So just follow up, and then we shall be giving you sites that you can go and learn. And we want you to learn ahead before even coming to class, so that when you are watching this video, you can ask questions, and then we can clarify certain doubts that you have. And it's very important. So now they are saying that Python comments can be used to explain Python codes. So it can be used to explain what Python codes. So for instance, if I want to write a comment here, I can use, if it is a single line of code, I can use the pound sign, and then just say this oh, my machine is slow. This determine whether it is sometimes whether it is true or false. So this piece of line, the piece of line there, will not be executed. Comment simply mean that ignore it, don't execute it. So that is the importance of comment. But then it explains to whoever is reading your code what it entails, so that programmers can easily adjust themselves to whatever you are coding, the kind of software you are building, so that they can follow up, and if possible they can also make some kind of changes or modification when it comes to the code. So comments are very important in every programming, because it explains what the programmer is doing, the codes he's putting across, and every programmer does it because he knows some other people may be willing to know what is happening. So that is a little information about comments. So as it continues to say, that comments can be used to make the code more readable. Like I said earlier on, comments can be used to prevent execution when testing. So like I said, when I run this code, this line of code, all those I've commented will not be executed. For instance, let's just try it and see. So let's run the code, and you can see it only returns this 1, 2, and 3, which is the true, and then the Boolean. But the rest of this didn't execute. You understand? So because it has been what? Commented. So that's what the script there, that phrase or sentence here is telling us. Then we also have comments start with a. So you say we start with a what? A pound sign. And then Python will ignore the what? That line of what? Code. It could be even a code that you are commenting. For instance, I can comment this second line of code, and then it will no more print the true, but it will print out the last line of code. So let's run the program and see our fate. So you can see that it doesn't return the true again, but then it returns the what? The data type, which is what? Boolean. So this is what comments can do to your program. You can either use it to ignore some line of code inside your code, or to explain what your code is meant to do. So this is very important. And if it is a single line of code, you can use the pound sign, this line, only one line. If it is 10 lines, then if you want to be using this pound, then you have to be putting it on each and every line. But then if you don't have time to do that, then you can easily use the 3 quotations. For instance, I can take off this thing, take off this comment too, take off. I want to take all the comments out. Take this one out. My friend, go up. It's freezing. Yeah. Don't mind me. It is freezing. So that's why I'm been clicking, because if you try to use the key, the machine is freezing. So let's just do it a conventional way. Where is my machine? Oh. Now, assuming I want to comment from this first line till this portion, I can't be using the pound sign all the time. So that's the hash, or whatever you call it. We have the hash, and then we have the pound sign. So what we can do is just bring 3 quotations here at the beginning and bring 3 quotations at the end. So it means that these 3 quotations, it could be single quotations. So from this portion here up to here, when we run this code, all this thing will not be printed. It will not print out. It's only the down portion, which is male, which is true, and then the data type that will be printed out. The rest has been commented. So you can use the double quotation, which is the triple double quotation, or the single triple double quotation, to comment a multiple lines of code. So for instance, let's execute and see whether these lines of code has been commented or not. So let's run it. And as we can see, it returns only the down portion. The rest has been commented. So this is just a little bit about commenting, and anything at all you are doing about Python, one way or the other, you want to comment something in your line of code, or you may want to explain some line of code, and to do that you have to use the comment so that you can portray whatever you want to do. So now that we have exhausted comment, then let's take a look at our next agenda, which is variables. Yeah, let's learn variables. So from W3 school, they are saying that variables are containers for storing data values, which I was explaining. Unlike other programming languages, Python has no command for declaring a variable. A variable is created the moment you first assign a value to it. So now let's start, and then I'll be explaining. They say variables are containers for storing data. So for instance, let's uncomment this our stuffs. But I just want to comment this one because now a name is a variable. So, and this name holds this this value, which is Tijani. So it means that the name here is a it's a variable. So, and variables can be short letters or can be descriptive. For instance, I can equally put x and say x is equal to Tijani. But then x is not descriptive. But if I say name, whoever takes it know that okay, this value is someone's name. I don't know whether you understand what I mean. This one is very descriptive. It has described what you intend to do, the value you are assigning to the name. But if you put x could be anything. You understand? So if you are not from maybe my background, you may not know that even Tijani is a name. You understand? So this one, so we don't encourage people to use this short form of what? Variables. So always use a very descriptive word, variable. It helps you a lot. Even yourself, it helps you. So that is the information there. So let's continue to see what they are saying. So variables are continued for storing our data. So it stores this name, this variable name stores this what? The value here, which is Tijani, and it stores it by an ID. So for instance, let me comment this one. So what we can do, you can find the ID of this name by using the same principle, print, and then you bring ID, and then you then open your parentheses and put name. So when you print, it will give you the ID of this one, this name. You see, even though we are using English to write the code, Python doesn't understand that. So what these editors are doing, computer, they don't understand this. Anything you put in there, if it is English words, it converts it to what? To some kind of numbers, whether hexadecimals and whatever. So it doesn't understand this. So that's why we are using this interpreter, so that it can't intercept our English to what the machines understands, so that we can be getting this one output. So that is the little information there. So variables are just the naming that you are going to put across, so that it can hold your what? Your values. It's what we call variables. So we have a variable name, which is what? Tijani. Variable age, which we assign to what? 20, which is a value. Then we have another variable, which is what? Volume, which we assign to 3.56. So the volume, the age, and then the name here are all what? Variables. And you can declare any variable. So they were saying that unlike other programming languages, before you can declare a variable, for instance, in Java, if you say name, you can declare a variable of this nature, name. Before you can declare a variable, if it is a string, then you have to bring the keyword first, string, before you bring the what? The name. And then with Java self, you have to terminate. Other than that, it will not understand, because we are not using Java ID. That's why we are getting this error. So, but this is how we declare variables in what? In Java. So this is just an example of it. In PHP, you have to bring the pound sign. Then if it is a name, then maybe you then attach the name to it. So, and then that one too, you have to terminate or assign it to a variable. So Python makes things so simple. You need not to worry about putting this string before the variable, or putting the pound sign before the what? The variable. So that's why it's easy to learn what? Python. So you will not bother yourself in certain syntax. So just be aware of that. So variables are just containers that hold your what? Your values, your data. So and we have used a lot of variables. We use a name, we use an age, and then we use volume 2. So anything at all, then, and once you assign it here, then it means that there will no more be error when it comes to your variable. Now let's make progress. Let's see what we intended to achieve. So we learned the built-in functions. We also learned the data types. We learn variables. We learn what? Python comments. And then we are left with what? Syntax. Python syntax. And you understand this concept more when we get to functions, so that you see how we indent certain stuffs. But then let's go to my small sheet, and then we can learn something there from the W3 school. So they are saying that Python syntax can be executed by writing it directly in the command line. For instance, when we started, I used some command line. So for instance, let me just open my command line like this. CMD. Just be patient, we are recording, and for that matter, our machine is slow. So CMD. Come on. All right. Let's just wait so that the command line will come. So we have our CMD like this. So if I just go to Python directory like this, so I can start executing what commands like 3 + 5. Then so it's very simple, very straightforward to work with. Unlike any other programming languages, you have to set your environment. PHP, you have to do some kind of configuration. Java, you have to do the same. Most of the programming languages, but with Python, once you have your command prompt and then you have the Python path inside your main path, you can start programming on your command line interface. So very straightforward. We can print. So let's print. Then we print our bracket Tijani. Let's try and print Tijani here. So, and you see Tijani has been printed out. So it's very simple, easy, and straightforward to use Python. So that's the syntax. So let's continue. So now, and they are also saying that, or by creating a Python file on a server using the .py file extension and running it on the command. So maybe after we get to some point, I will start to teach you how to write simple script. And you can write a script and then invoke it on your command line interface, and then it will do whatever you want it to do, because whatever you are going to write, the script you are going to write, you will decide, okay, I want to write a script that will invoke, when I run it, when I invoke it, then it can bring a prompt that will ask a user to enter his name. After the person enters his name, then it will ask the user to enter his maybe age, maybe the basic information of a person. So you can do it in that way. So as time goes on, we shall be writing simple script, and we shall be using the .py extension. So if you want to know all these things, just stay tuned and always follow up, and then everything will be given out to you. We are teachers. We are not doing it for money. We are doing it for Mother Ghana, and whoever also want to learn, whether within Ghana or outside Ghana, you have the liberty, you have the right. It is open, free for everyone, public consumption. So you can follow up, and then we all learn together. Now let's move on to Python indentation. So, and we will fill this one when we get to a concept like functions and other stuff, whereby not even concept, when we get to flow control, that is decisions and other stuff, the if-else statement. So there is some kind of indentations. That is the way your program, your block of code should look like, so that it will say this if you do it this way, and it will say another thing if you do it the other way around. So we shall be looking for Python indentation. For instance, let me just comment this one, and let's try and run some, because we believe in doing the real thing. So for instance, if I define a function, so you can see that it has come there. So we have a function here, then fun. So, and then the name of our function is what? Fun. So let's bring the double quotation here, and then we bring this column. Now when I press enter, you can see that it has indented automatically. You are not going to indent it. It has automatically, instead of it to start here at the beginning, it has indented the pipe here, this pipe. So you can now write anything here, and now when you write it and then call it, then it will then print it out for you. So this is what we call indentation. So don't worry about it. I just want to explain the concept to you. So when we get to wherever we need to use the indentation, we just want it to be clear, that so that it will not be new for you again. So this is how Python indent their syntax and other line of codes or block of codes. So just for information's sake. So now let's see what we have done, and see whether we were able to cover our objectives. So we're saying that today we should be able to learn how to Python syntax, which we did, and also Python comments, which we did, Python variables, which we did, then Python data types, and then built-in functions. So we have gone through all these 5 objectives. So I urge all students, you can do further research into what we have learned. So, and you can go to W3 School. It's a very good place to start. There are a lot of sites that you can go, but then I'm recommending W3 Schools for you. If you wish, you can go there, and then you can go through their stuff. So maybe tomorrow, because I don't want to overload you with a lot of information, so we are just going to breaking the information bit by bit. So tomorrow, God willing, if we have life and we are healthy, then we shall start to do something much bigger than what we have done today, by entering the accepting inputs and other stuff. So just stick to this one, explore more upon what we have done today, and then tomorrow, God willing, we then continue from this. And please also like the video, share it to your friends, inform your friends about it, and then the channel, you can just go to Tijani, Share Tijani Motaro. If you type this thing in any YouTube URL, they are search. If you go to YouTube and then just type it in any of the search engines, then it's going to take you to my channel straightforward, and you can just click on the videos we have been uploading for the past 2 days. This is our 3rd video, and God willing, we are going to continue to do new things and then upload it to the channel, so that you can access it anytime, anywhere, any place, and even download it. So just like, and if you have any question, put it on the comment section so that I can get back to you on that. So thank you for watching, and then share it with your friends, and then also click on the like button, and also try to subscribe so that when we upload any new content, it will notify you so that you will have it. So when you subscribe, click on the bell icon so that, and select all, so any content we put across, it will notify you, and then when we upload any video, you can get it, and it will make your work very simple, because anytime we upload something, it will notify you that we have uploaded a new content, and then you just go through it. Thank you for watching, and I'm more grateful.